Okay, so guess who we're going to have a chat with right now? You are going to love what we're going to talk about. We're going to be speaking with the creator of a memorable essay and the organizer of the Caribbean Medical Professionals Summit. None other than, are you ready for this one? Shauna K. Lester. I hope I got that right. Did I get that right, Shauna?
Yes, you did, Isabel. How are you?
I am very, very well. And of course, you are here to tell us about this year one. And I love the idea, the Caribbean Medical Professional Summit. Tell us exactly what we're in for.
All right, what you're in for with the Caribbean Medical Professional Summit, as the name suggests, it's for our medical professionals across the Caribbean, and you are entering into this event if you're ready to catapult your career. So the theme of our event is toward personal and professional development, so both aspects we're working on. For people who are really ready to take their career and to take their life to that next level, that's what we're primarily dealing with.
All right. So how did this initiative actually come about?
Right. So through my company, Memorable Essay, I have supported physicians across the Caribbean. They've gone to medical school across the Caribbean. So obviously lots of UA people, shout out to UA, but also people from medical schools in Mexico, in Cuba, other national universities like in Guyana. And I just noticed while working with my population that obviously they're excellent doctors, and so they are ambitious people. They have lots of aspirations for their career, but there were many other ways in which I think that they could be supported in order to really, realize their maximum potential. I think an instance of this or an example of this that is very obvious is that there are oftentimes us, we hear other people just cussing out doctor. Oh, they went to this doctor and they were no good and they were terrible and can't stand those doctors.
Yes.
And I'm just like, does anybody ever ask the question who takes care of the doctors, right? So it's like, here is a population that is taking care of an entire nation. COVID came and went, and I'm just like, who's taking care of the doctors? So one of the pillars of what we're doing is self-care and wellness. So as I said, think about it in terms of, all right, you're coming to camps if you want to catapult your career, but we're focusing on three main pillars.
Yes.
And the first one is career development. The second one is self-care and wellness, as I was just explaining, that's totally deserved. And then the third one is mentorship and networking.
All right. So when it goes to the mentorship and networking, is it a case where you perhaps look at another doctor in the position where they are in? You are in a capable position. You become a mentor for a younger doctor. Speak to us about how that aspect works.
Yeah, absolutely. So clearly it would be related to age, in terms of like if you're a senior doctor, you're a consultant, you're an attending. Absolutely. I think innately could, show a younger doctor the way. But I think it's also important to consider experience and peer-to-peer networking, which we're definitely pushing with this event as well. Because you might be a consultant and somebody else might be a consultant, but they've started a business, right? Or you both started businesses, but one's business is ahead, or you pivoted to a different kind of model. And so even though you guys are on the same level in terms of where you are able to be a mentor to the other person. So yes, it is, seniors to their juniors, but it also is kind of just experience, like sharing experiences. And some of that is going to be horizontal. It's not always up, It can be peer-to-peer as well.
A side order question. So, for example, you did hint at it, but there are doctors, they have bad days too, and there are doctors where people complain about and so on. Does your organization perhaps will check up on that doctor to see what personal issues they might be having, what type of support they might very well need?
Yeah, well, that's a good segue into talking about our speakers, because clearly I just saw this need, but I do not have all the expertise.
Yes.
So we have a lineup of 24 speakers, believe it or not. Some of them in person, some of them virtual. It really is an amazing lineup, and included in that is a licensed mental health counselor. Her name is Seneca Williams. She's Vincentian American. So her roots are in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and she currently resides in Florida. And she's doing two very important sessions that do exactly that word that you use, the checkup word. So one of them that I'm very excited about is a checkup on the physician's entire life, right? The medical professionals, because nurses are welcome as well, pharmacists are welcome. It does a checkup on the health of your entire life. So every bucket, she's going into that, how you can, for the first time, assess how healthy you're doing in all of these, different dimensions. And then, of course, how you can fix it. And she's also doing a session about burnout, which is a very big thing, especially post-COVID. Like people just absolutely hitting a wall, and not being able to move beyond that wall. So she's actually going to be doing a pretty in-depth session as well on burnout, on recognizing it and preventing it and recovering from it. Yes.
All right. Here's another one too. Although we know we might be strapped for time by we get to the end of this, but you did mention personal development, and what about overexposure? Because a lot of doctors now are into all of the stuff that's happening on social media. How does keeping that professional check in place? Are you going to be looking at areas like those too?
No, I think I kind of took it for granted that we're dealing with, individuals who can for themselves determine how much of their lives they want to put out on social media.
Okay, cool.
So I think that would fall more in like a bucket of like personal branding, which, if anyone wants to come on board for future stagings, I look forward to actually personally adding a personal branding session to our next event. But we aren't going to get into that in this particular event.
No problem. In addition to the speakers you mentioned previously, who else do you have on the panel?
Right. So our heavy hitters in terms of our keynotes, we have Professor Shafi Ahmed, and he is coming to us from the UK, and he's an artificial intelligence expert. And I'm really excited about him because he's one of the world's top 20 experts in digital health.
Excellent.
So in other words, everybody's a big deal. Jamaicans are really good at, asking nobody no more than me. Yes, everybody's a big deal, but Professor Shafi is a big deal, okay? Yeah. So he's coming, and he's basically going to be helping everyone to figure out how to future-proof their career, because all of us in whatever we've done, we put a lot of time into our craft, school or no school, but for the doctors, obviously, a lot of schooling, and you want to make sure that you don't just suddenly find yourself in an era, where everything that you've studied is now outdated, right?
True.
And you're hustling for work.
Yes.
We're anti-hustle for work after you've done all that you need to do.
Yes.
So he's going to come to talk about, basically artificial intelligence in health and medicine, but specifically in preparing yourself as a physician to catch what you need to catch from that and not to be left behind. Our other keynote is Dr. Kemi Dole, and she's talking about having your unapologetic career. She has done some really groundbreaking research, but something that she's very passionate about is helping physicians to understand how to put themselves, within the mix of the people who are benefiting from their career. Because oftentimes, especially if you find yourself in an institution, in what, people would refer to as being in academic medicine. So if you're working within the confines of an institution and you have mentees and you have research, like you can get left out, or left behind in all of that. And so she's touching on that. We also have the board chair of the American Academy of Family Physicians and two young ladies, Dr. Trina Stowe, Dr. Camilla Spencer, who I'm really excited about because they recently launched a company called Global Med Corporation, and they're offering telemedicine services for the Caribbean, because that's their background. So I'm not sure how much time you have, but those are just some of our speakers. I'm excited about everybody, by the way, but those are just some of our speakers who I'm really, really excited about.
Let me see if I can squeeze in 2 or 3 more questions. Is this conference solely for Jamaican medical professionals?
Absolutely not. It's branded as a Caribbean Summit because it is for people who are from the Caribbean, just working here. You just have an interest in it. You're diasporic Caribbean. The one thing that I did want was to have a space where people were really considering Caribbean public health issues. So we'd love for you to have some interest in the region, but you don't have to, necessarily be from the Caribbean at all.
All right. So where can people actually go to register, and what's the cost of registration?
Sure. So they can go to www.caribmedsummit.com. So it has a B on it. So www.caribmedsummit.com. And we have 3 different ticket levels. We charge in US. We had to find a common currency for the region. So we're charging in US, and we start at $95 for our virtual tickets. Or you can go up to a VIP experience, which is $525 if you're going to do our 2-day VIP option. So definitely wanted to make it accessible and affordable and provided different levels of experiences.
I'm trying to recall if you told us where and when will the event take place.
It is happening at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in the ballroom. And it starts on May 31 in the evening with a mixer. Have to get that networking on. And then June 1 and June 2 are the 2 full days.
All right. And at the end of all of this, what do you aim to achieve?
Yeah, personal and professional development for our physicians, right? And them actually being able to take their career to the maximum level and to be well while doing it. And I personally think that this is an issue of national importance. I feel very strongly about our healthcare providers, just like our teachers, because they do so much for the nation, and so they have to be well. And I think that has to be a national priority. Like, there's no way that you can be looking out for public health without looking out for the people who are providing their services.
I can see it really means a lot to you. Is there anything else you want to add before you go?
I want to thank you, Isabing, for the interview and to encourage people to come out to the summit. Again, you can get your ticket at www.caribmedsummit.com.
Million thanks for coming to share with us the information, and I'm sure that we do have a lot of medical professionals who listen to us. So, did you say how they could get in touch with you? Did you?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I had sent them the website, but we do have a WhatsApp number that they can call, except it's slipping me right now because I did not come with the number. But we're on Instagram as Carib Med Summit, so they can get us there. And once they come to www.caribmedsummit.com, the information is there, or they can send an email to caribmedsummit@gmail.com. So we do have email as well.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Isabing. Take care.
Good. That, of course, was our Shauna K. Lester, creator of our memorable essay and, of course, the organizer of the Caribbean Medical Professionals Summit. Remember now, get in touch with them because they're going to be covering so many areas that our medical professionals do need.